Hello everybody, welcome to MTA number 10 for the 9th of August 2018. I'm Mosen and the topics for today are guilds, what are they good for? Complainers, gold tips number, oh my god, what is it, 5? Gold tips number 5 and fresh. Alright, let's jump right into it. 2 bays. We're actually waiting here for we're doing some world bosses now, waiting for 1 or 2 more people to get on again. Quite fun, I must say. Right, so yeah, this is MTA number 10 and we start out with 2 bays and he says, I quit Lightbringer after AQ40, never touched classic Naxx at all. I'm gonna do the same on Northdale. And just because one simple reason. Oh. Joining in my channel here, annoying. One sec, there's a hunter watching us. Okay, again, I'm gonna do the same on Northdale, just because one simple reason: if official classic releases, I have at least content that I never seen. This gives me the motivation to looking forward. If I had cleared Naxx, this would not be the case. I probably would not even play on official servers. Let's stop here for a second. Yeah, of course, that's one way of looking at it, and that's a valid point. Then again, it's still such a long way to go until that actually happens. But I can kind of get your idea about, you want to save the crazy content, and to be honest, Naxx is pretty cool content. Naxx is pretty interesting stuff, I must say. And much cooler than AQ40, I find. So I get that people want to save it for the official release, so that's fine. Then again, you could, just raid it here, and it's still gonna be really fun. Especially Naxx, it's gonna be really fun for you on official classic. He goes on to say, to the topic about the population shift from Lightbringer to Northdale, there are many factors. A lot of people never played on a fresh realm, including me. Yes, that's true. That's the usual reason. For myself, I've played on 3 fresh realms, and at this point, I just don't want to. It's kind of what you're saying before. I don't want to do Molten Core again for the 100th time. While it's still fun, a fresh server has the cool thing is that everyone starts at 0 and you can rank, but ranking is crazy at that point, and you have shit loot at MC. So all the magic I can get, if you've never done it, do it. No problem. But if you've done it 1 or 2 times, it's yeah. He goes on to say, the other reason is that this might be the last decent classic server before official release. Also true, we have a multicultural server, made friends with a lot of people from around the world. This is the last possibility to play with lads from the US and Russians, etc. On official servers. This will not be the case, so we just enjoy those friendships as possible. Yeah, I get it. There's a lot of stuff that speaks for it, and if your friends they all move into fresh and you want to play with them, obviously you can do that. All I was saying is, for a lot of people that have done everything here on the server and or maybe have played a fresh server before, the idea is that they this is cool here. Like, we can do world bosses. Server has about like 2k online at the peak, and it's still a solid and healthy population from my understanding. It's fine. It's cool. You can actually farm herbs and mining nodes, and you can do world bosses, or you can do and quests with your alt, really chill. So this is more of a server that is not a 10k. It still has a cool population going, and it's actually a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying this, and you have like this goal that is Naxx Rammers that we want to clear, and of course, like, you have now also the problems. You have more casual players here. Some are really, really good, but some are just more casual or just don't know that much yet, and you're slower, let's face it. But it's also like it's a cool progression, and a very chill, and you have like the server with you and 1,500 others, or like 2,000 others, and that's good enough. It's a very cozy atmosphere. All right. We're gonna jump into the gold farming tip number 5, a general one now, and then I'm gonna go into more detail about fishing anyway, because I'm getting into that stuff. One of the things is there's not a lot of stone scale yields on the auction house on Lightbringer nowadays, so it's actually worth getting them and doing stuff yourself. This is also really cool. Like, some people in the guild now get fishing up, and we'll supply ourselves. So gold tip number 5 for this week will probably, or this MTA will probably be, get your fishing up. Get it to 300. I know it's boring at the start, don't get me wrong, but if you're just standing around watching a YouTube video or so, do it a week or so, and you will be at 300 easy, and you can make actually a lot of money with it. If you're the kind of person. The stone scale eel sell for a lot of money on the auction house. You can get the Rumsey run here, that you can fish that up, stamina by 10 or 15. That you can sell that to the tanks. Yeah, all that good stuff, right? So there's a lot of money to be made, and obviously, like, all the the fish for blackmouth thingies for free action potions, you can fish up a lot of stuff. There's the fishing event on Sundays, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff and fun and gold to be had if you're fishing. There's a couple of really good fishing guides actually on the web, and it's a big profession on its own, so go and check that out if you are interested in finding something chill to make money with. That's the way to go. Yeah, so for example, you can only fish certain fish at a certain time in a certain zone, all that stuff. Next topic would probably be, yes, guilds and what are they for. And we're gonna start with, today just gonna talk about what they're not for, and about complainers. So something that really grinds my gears. I like to use this to talk about stuff that I find really stupid, so you don't maybe find yourself in a situation where you're kind of like that, and maybe you didn't notice, and I'm just trying to make people not do the same stuff. So we're in an Naxx, right? And there's a boss, Grobbulus, and he drops clouds on the ground, right? And they grow. So far so good, easy mechanic. If you're a melee, like, you might get an ejection, and then your task is to go next to the last cloud, stand next to it, and then you get dispelled, and you drop another, and then you run out. That's easy, right? So it's basically go close to the next one, but don't stand in it, and then you get dispelled, and then you walk away. So we had people, and I was trying to tell him this, that how that worked, and then he got really pissed because we apparently it was everyone else's fault, and they didn't dispel him. Everyone did everything wrong except for him. It was a melee. He stood next to the cloud, but he just let it grow into him. Like, he didn't move left or right because it's growing. You just stand at the border, and all you have to do is you just stand at the border all the time. But he would claim that everyone else did it wrong, and he was standing there, and he couldn't. I mean, he stood at the border. It's not his fault that it grew, right? Like, he couldn't see that, so he didn't get dispelled, and the others are wrong. Tried talking sense to him in a very nice manner, and the end of the story is that he still thinks everyone else did it wrong, and there was no way he could have moved. I mean, that we're even talking about this is ridiculous, but there's a cloud and you stand at the border. If it grows, you move a little bit to the right once in a while. But if you don't see it, it's a typical LFR raider. I didn't know, or I didn't do anything wrong. The healer's fault, right? I died. It's the same with DPS dying, right? If you're good DPS, you don't die. It's that simple. And I know this triggers and tilts a lot of people, but in the core essence, it's true. There's a lot of good DPS that I know. They don't, they usually don't die because they have stuff with them that to avoid that. Of course, you can't affect everything, but in generally speaking, they find ways to avoid dying. And what guilds are not for is probably being this person, right? You're not supposed to be, like, the guild is not supposed to carry your ass if you can't stand at the border of a cloud. Further, the guild is also not for, hey guys, can anyone help me with this elite quest? And then everyone, people are just doing their own business, and then some people might actually just get really offended that there's not 5 60s instantly riding over to the elite quest to help this one guy, right? And it's like, I'm sorry, but if you're in a guild, right, and all these 60s don't have time to help you right now, or they just don't want to, even if they just don't want to, you have no right to complain about that shit. So I just wanted to get it out there. Guilds are not there to make you, give you entertainment, or to be there whenever you need something, and then everyone needs to react in one split second. Otherwise, you're gonna be pissed. If that's the case, you should work on yourself and just maybe think about what can you give to the guild, right? And yeah, there's a couple of things like that that have been going on. I don't know. I might continue the series about funny stories of people being in guilds, right? Or green gear people coming into raids and shit. And then, they've been with us for one MC and helped with 2 world bosses, and they don't understand why they don't get the best items from Naxx all of a sudden. And and you can talk to them and try to explain, like, dude, look at this. You can't expect like the best loot. You've just been here for like 2 weeks, and you skip every raid, and then for the MC you come and your performance is below a main tank in DPS or 50 heal per second. Are you serious? You were expecting the best items? Whoa, and they're just beyond saving. They won't understand, and it doesn't matter how much sense you try to talk into them. They don't understand. And those are the funny stories. Some people are just beyond saving. It's just funny. I mean, at this point, we're just keeping them where they're in and can be socials or whatever. But whatever. But yeah, that's it for this MTA. Hope you had fun. Thank you for subscribing and liking and following the channel. Also, thank you for the dislikes. It's interaction. Thank you very much. And I'll see you next time.